Hi guys, it's Dana with Empowerrv.
And Brenda with Queen Bee RV. We are coming to you from Athens, Texas at the National RV Training Academy. We're in the Big Red Schoolhouse where Dana and I got our certifications. And we are going to bring you another episode of 52 Ways to Empower Women RVers. And today we're talking batteries. We thought when we've got all the props here at our disposal that we'd bring some in and show you guys about them and how to maintain them, extend their life. So let's talk about the types of batteries that people have in their RVs first. Very typical that a lot of our female campers have this lead acid type battery. And we're going to talk in a moment about whether you have to service them or they're non-serviceable. But lead acid, very popular. This is the AGM. There's gel. Lithium is becoming really, really popular. It's much more expensive than a regular lead acid battery, but as you mentioned,
Lots of advantages that come along with this more expensive battery.
people are using them for solar, boondocking, all sorts of reasons, and the life expectancy of the battery is much longer too. A lot more people are going to be starting to get those lithium batteries. And I do want to mention, you might have just one 12-volt battery as part of your coach battery system, or you might have multiple. Some people have 2, some people have 6, the big motorized ones. They're all going to be connected in a particular configuration that benefits the 12-volt system for your rig. So don't be surprised if you only have one and somebody else has, a couple. So why don't you tell everybody where these are located and why?
So your lead acid battery is actually going to be found exteriorly of the camper, no matter what camper it is, just because it's going to off gas. So you want to make sure that if you have a lead acid battery that it's always kept outside, never bring it inside with you. If you have a lithium, those can be found interiorly, usually under the beds. A lot of people will place them there, or inside a front cargo compartment, like on an Airstream. There's not a lot of bedroom, but there's that front cargo compartment. So back to the lead acid. On a travel trailer, most of your batteries are going to be found on the tongue. So they're going to be behind the propane tanks, usually in a covered compartment to protect them from the elements, but at the front of the trailer. If you have a motorized, I'm going to skip to motorized. If you have a motorized, those are going to be found interiorly, usually under the front step of the entrance. If you have a fifth wheel, those batteries will be found in a cargo bay. Usually they might be on a pull-out tray or just wired together right there at the entrance of a cargo bay.
So it varies from rig to rig, but that's where you can typically find them because when they off-gas, it's hydrogen. And not meant for us to breathe.
No.
So let's talk about maintenance for these. The lithium, kind of done. It's
maintenance free.
You're really not having to look at a lot of those. On these lead acid, they might be serviceable or non-serviceable. This AGM is an example of non-serviceable, and you can tell there's nothing here for me to look at, to deal with as far as the water fill wells.
Some people call these a sealed unit.
Oh, okay.
That might be a word that they might recognize.
And sometimes they don't even have a sticker on them. You can't even tell what you've got. You just notice that there's nothing there. Now, as far as the connections, you can do a visual inspection periodically and take a look at those connections to make sure there's not corrosion, etc. But these lead acid have water fill wells that need to be looked at. I did not know this when I first got into this space. And
I didn't either.
Oh gosh. And so it's very important that you're monitoring the water fill wells here. And I won't go deep into why that's important, but if the cells get dried out in here, it's going to shorten the life of that battery. So if you do need to top off, there's water in each of these little wells here. And what you're trying to do is bring the water level up to the bottom of the wells and form a little, I think it's called a convex, a little bubble.
Looks like a contact,
tension.
Like a contact lens at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, like a contact lens. You can use a little funnel, and you're always going to want to use distilled water whenever you top these off. And I would say look at these at least once a month, especially during camping season or when you're using it regularly. Let's talk about keeping them charged. What's your advice on keeping these healthy?
Okay, so if you're a camper, an avid camper, and you're always out there, if you live in a southern state like Texas, and there's no winter, non-camping season like winter, and you're always out there, your battery is being charged every time you plug into shore power, and it's also being charged every time you connect your 7-pin to your tow vehicle. So you have no worries with that. When you're boondocking, that would be a concern. If you're traveling quite a bit boondocking, you want to make sure that you are watching that voltage on your batteries while you're boondocking. You never want to discharge these less than 50%. This lovely thing can be discharged completely to 100%, which is another advantage of a lithium.
Right.
But the AGM batteries, our lead acid batteries, need to be discharged no more than 50%,
Right.
or you will shorten the life of that battery. So 50% on a 12.4 volt battery is
12 volts.
Yeah, 12
right.
volts.
And then it's
So it
dead.
doesn't- Yeah. At 11, you are dead. So 12 volts is really what you don't want to go past that. Be watching that battery minder in your camper, the little
Monitor
panel. You should be able to see what your batteries are charged. But if for some reason you're not going to be camping and you are not, a month, they say that a battery can discharge up to half a volt, self-discharge up to half a volt a month.
Right.
So that's going to bring you down to the 12 volt mark. You're going to want to remove that battery and put it on a battery minder or a trickle charge or something like that at home, because these guys need to be plugged in. It's okay for them to be plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. So in one of our campers, we have we store and we keep it plugged in all the time, no matter how long we're not camping in it. We know that the battery is going to stay healthy by keeping it active and moving.
Perfect. So hopefully these tips are helpful. If you like this content, give us a like down here and give us a comment. Be sure to follow us on our social media channels. It's 52 Ways and Counting, and we'll see you next week on another episode.